Next tonight, a picture of something so obvious it has everyone saying, "How did you not see that?"
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 athletes who got caught cheating live.
Cheats!
For this list, we're looking at examples of all sorts of cheating acts in sports that happen to be caught on camera. We'll take a look at different professional athletes and the strategies they used. Some worse than others. Whatever corners these athletes tried cutting to make it to the finish line or win, they are fair game for our list. Number 20, Dwight Howard. During a game between the Atlanta Hawks and Houston Rockets, forward Paul Millsap immediately felt something strange as he was handed the ball during a free throw attempt.
Millsap's telling him to look at the ball. Must be sticky.
It was revealed to be a stickum, a glue-like substance once used by wide receivers and defensive backs to get a better grip when catching footballs. The culprit who was using stickum was Dwight Howard, who had touched the ball shortly before it was in the possession of Millsap. Although it is illegal to use in the NBA, he was neither fined nor reprimanded for his actions. He even went on record saying he had been using it for many years. Players, coaches, and media outlets couldn't even fathom the advantage it could give why one would even use it in a sport like basketball, which probably explains why Howard came off scot-free.
Is that disrespectful to the game?
No, it's not that big of a deal, but you can't use stickers because other guys need the ball too.
Number 19, Tony Romo. This one's kind of funny. After a run by Dallas Cowboys running back DeMarco Murray, which saw him get just short of getting the first down on a 3rd and 1, the officials and players were standing by, and in a very brief moment, Romo moved the ball forward on the line with his foot. But he wasn't fooling anyone, and the ball was quickly placed back at its original spot.
Tony Romo gave it a little foot wedge there.
Speaking on the incident after the game, Romo jokingly claimed that he was hoping that no one would see it. And then he said he actually slipped. Kidding or not, we hope it was all in good fun. Number 18, Martin McSorley. In Game 2 of the 1993 Stanley Cup Final, the Montreal Canadiens then head coach Jacques Demers asked that LA Kings defenseman Marty McSorley's hockey stick be inspected, claiming it to be illegal.
Right now, we're going to have a measurement of a King stick. It's the stick of Marty McSorley.
Upon inspection by the officials, this turned out to be the case, as the stick was curved beyond the limit set by the NHL. McSorley would receive a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. Many saw the incident as a turning point in the series, as the Canadiens scored on the ensuing power play, wound up winning that game and the subsequent 3 to hoist the Stanley Cup. While McSorley would admit wrongdoing, he also believed the Canadiens knew he was using an illegal stick beforehand, and that their call was planned. Number 17, Will Smith.
Getting jiggy with it.
Not that Will Smith, this Will Smith. Perhaps one of the most obvious forms of cheating on this list. In the 7th inning of a game between the Atlanta Braves and Milwaukee Brewers, the relief pitcher was called on by umpires when the Braves manager, Freddie Gonzalez, asked them to check Smith's arm, which was glistening with a substance. Upon further inspection by the umpires, Smith was tossed.
He's been thrown out. Will Smith has been ejected. A foreign substance on the glove.
Smith revealed the substance to be rosin and sunscreen. While he claimed the purpose behind its use was to get a better grip of the ball and not to gain a competitive advantage, the umpires weren't buying it, and he was later suspended 8 games. Number 16, the Houston Astros. The scale of this cheating scandal was so large that live TV was just one of the ways this MLB team was caught cheating. Using unauthorized electronic equipment, the team would utilize live video feeds to decipher and uncover the signs made by opposing team catchers during games. The information would then be relayed to the players by way of banging noises made by hitting a garbage can, which can be heard on live television.
Change up. Bang, bang. That sequence is so upsetting. There's no way that is done without technology.
They continued to use this system until they were eventually caught in 2019. To make matters worse, in the aftermath, the players would seem unapologetic for taking part in the scheme.
I'm really sorry about the choices that were made by my team, by the organization, and by me. I've learned from this, and I hope to regain the trust of baseball fans.
Number 15, Rivaldo Ferreira. In this group match between Brazil and Turkey at the World Cup in 2002, Hakan Ünsal would kick the ball towards Rivaldo Ferreira. It hit his shin, but as Ferreira fell, he was clutching his face. Having already received a yellow card prior, Ünsal was sent off for the incident by the referee. Upon review by the World Cup's disciplinary committee, it was determined that Ferreira did indeed simulate being fouled, and was subsequently fined for his actions. Ferreira would even later admit to flopping, but noted that Ünsal should have been sent off regardless. Well, that's one way to deflect. Number 14, Simon Dyson. At the 2013 BMW Masters Tournament in Shanghai, Simon Dyson was caught using his ball to press down a spike mark in the line of a putt. He also didn't add a 2-shot penalty to his card, resulting in him signing off on a false score. He was later disqualified from the tournament for the move.
So we reviewed the footage with Simon today, and there's no other option but to advise him that he was in breach of Rule 16(1)(a) for that action, and that does lead to disqualification.
While fined $49,000 and initially sentenced to serve a 2-month suspension, it would later be changed to an 18-month probationary period. Although Dyson apologized, he didn't admit to any wrongdoing, calling the incident a, quote, accidental mistake. Number 13, Patrick Reed. There's nothing worse than a cheater who's cheated more than once. There have been several instances of foul play on the part of Reed, but this one might take the cake. During the third round of the Hero World Challenge in 2019, Patrick Reed can be seen practicing his swing in the bunker. But if one looks more closely, they can see that Reed is clearly attempting to clear sand in order to get a better shot in.
This was his practice swing, and you can see when he took the club back, he definitely took some sand back behind it. Now you can ground the club there. He not only did it once, he did it twice.
He was later penalized 2 strokes for his actions, but the whole incident just gave further justification as to why Reed is arguably one of the most disliked athletes in the sport of golf. Number 12, Vincenzo Nibali. Racing in the Vuelta a España in 2015, Italian cyclist Vincenzo Nibali got into some trouble when he crashed during the course. But that wasn't the only trouble he got caught up in during the race. In order to gain some ground and catch up to the peloton after crashing, Nibali would get hold of one of his team's cars, and he was towed through part of the race. Racers do this often, but as long as it's for not too long and it isn't to get ahead in the race. However, the footage showed Nibali was clearly trying to use this to his advantage. To no one's surprise, he was thrown out of the race. One really can't help but wonder how Nibali and the rest of his team thought they were going to get away with this with the cameras on. Number 11, Michael Pineda. When weather conditions are cold, athletes often resort to certain tactics to deal with the season's conditions. Wearing an extra layer of clothing, gloves, or even just putting a big old jacket over yourself when you're on the bench. But for Yankees pitcher Michael Pineda, his trick was to use pine tar. During a game against the Boston Red Sox, then team manager John Farrell spotted the substance on Pineda's neck. He was checked by the umpires, and when they discovered it to be pine tar, Pineda was ejected.
And they're throwing him out of the game. It went to his neck, and he said there's something on his neck, so Pineda is being tossed.
Pineda was suspended for 10 games.
This is the past, so I don't want to talk about that. So I know I'm making a mistake today, and that's it.
Number 10, Sammy Sosa.
Checking out that piece of lumber. They found something in there. And let's see what the rest of the crew can discover here.
During a game between the Chicago Cubs and Tampa Bay Rays in 2003, in the bottom of the first inning, outfielder Sammy Sosa hit a ground ball so hard his bat snapped in half. Umpires investigated the pieces of the broken bat and noticed pieces of cork, a material that's banned in the MLB. Sosa was ejected, and he later claimed he chose the wrong bat during the game and that he only used it during practices. Sosa was suspended for 7 games, and many consider this to be another blemish on his otherwise impressive and Hall of Fame-worthy career.
It's been a tough week for me. Once again, I just want to apologize to everybody up there that mistake that I make.
Number 9, Luis Resto. On the night of June 16, 1983, boxers Billy Ray Collins and Luis Resto squared off at Madison Square Garden. For 10 rounds they went back and forth, but Collins looked practically unrecognizable after having taken significant damage. When the match concluded, Resto went to shake the hands of Collins' corner. One of the cornermen, who was Collins' father, noticed something odd with Resto's gloves. He realized there was a lack of padding, and it was later confirmed by a referee. The New York State Athletic Commission went on to suspend Resto and his trainer, Carlos Lewis, and both men even served prison sentences as well.
18 days after what had briefly appeared to be his greatest victory, Louis Resto's boxing career was over. But the consequences of that night in the ring, for Louis and so many others, were just beginning.
Resto would never box again. Sadly, Billy Ray Collins' eye was damaged beyond repair and was told he would never fight again. And he would suffer from depression before he passed away in a car accident. Number 8. Tom Williams.
Tom Williams came onto the field with 1 point between the teams and just 10 minutes left. I understood from what Dean said that I'd be coming off at some point before the end of the match with a fake injury, but I had no idea how this would work.
In the second half of the Heineken Cup quarterfinal match between Harlequins and Leinster, star Nick Evans injured his thigh and went to the bench. Soon after, Harlequins coach Dean Richard wanted to put his go-to player back in the game, but rules state that a player who's already been subbed cannot return to the field, unless they replace a player who suffered a blood injury. So, to get their man back on out there, they had teammate Tom Williams hide a blood capsule in his sock that was given to him, and then bite on said capsule to appear injured in order to make the switch. Spectators and viewers alike were stunned because no one had seen Williams actually sustain an injury.
Who punched Tom Williams in the mouth? Tom Williams?
Dubbed Bloodgate, suspensions and fines were given left and right when the scheme was uncovered. However, the most ridiculous and telling moment may have been when Williams winked at the bench during the incident. So much for being discreet. Number 7. Men's Australian cricket team. Looking to gain an advantage in a match against South Africa, 3 players from the men's Australian cricket team hatched a plan to add some scruff to the ball using sandpaper, as this serves the bowler better control of its movement when it's thrown.
See, by keeping one side of the ball shiny and smooth and letting the other side rough up, the ball, when bowled in the right way, can move through the air towards the rough side. That's because air flows differently over each side of the ball, making it really difficult for batsmen to play.
The sandpaper was hidden under Cameron Bancroft's pants, and after using it on the ball, he tried to hide it by shoving it right back in there. The camera was on him when it happened, and he was caught red-handed. Bancroft and the 2 other players, Steve Smith and David Warner, admitted their attempt to cheat. And while it was unsuccessful, it still remains an embarrassing and dark chapter in Australian sports history.
I made a serious error of judgment, and I now understand the consequences.
I am extremely disappointed and regret my actions.
I'll do everything I can to make up for my mistake and the damage it's caused.
Number 6. Thierry Henry. The incident has been labeled Le Hand of God, and with good reason. In 2009, during a World Cup qualifying match between France and Ireland, the latter was up by 1. But in the final minutes of the game and in possession of the ball, France's William Gallas scored to tie the game.
Oh, it's in the net. It's a goal.
Having won in the previous leg against Ireland, France was declared the winner. However, upon review of the goal, it was clear that striker Thierry Henry touched the ball with his hands before passing it to Gallas. The goal stood, and France went on to qualify for the World Cup. The football community was shaken and outraged, and the incident is still considered by many as one of the biggest controversies in the sport's history.
You saw the game. You saw the game. All the European people saw the game, saw the situation.
Number 5. Joe Niekro.
They're checking him all over. I've never seen him do a search like this.
Looking at these scenes from 1987, this former Minnesota Twins pitcher should have stayed home that day, or at least not tried hiding an emery board and sandpaper. After referee Tim Cheetah demanded he empty his pockets, Niekro tried playing dumb by pretending to have a sudden urge to file his nails. But Bobby Brown, the then president of the American League, wasn't buying it. Niekro was handed a 10-game suspension, and all baseballs used in that game were removed, leading to his retirement soon after the incident.
He's out of there. He's been kicked out of the game.
Number 4. Nelson Piquet Jr.
Formula One drivers put their lives in danger whenever they get behind the wheel, but certain risky maneuvers can still be suspicious. Case in point, the controversy involving the Renault F1 team at the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, particularly Nelson Piquet Jr. and Fernando Alonso. On the 14th lap, Piquet's car hit the wall, allowing Alonso to win the race. According to Piquet, the event was a simple mishap. But was it really? Following an investigation by the FIA, it was determined that Renault had orchestrated everything. This led to an indefinite ban from FIA-sanctioned events for the team's managing director Flavio Briatore, who would also resign from his position, while Renault was given a 2-year suspended ban.
How's your first week as team boss going?
It can't get worse, can it?
Number 3. Julie Miller.
Despite her already impressive track record, Canadian triathlete Julie Miller surprised everyone by winning Ironman Canada 2015 in Whistler, BC. Though she'd won her division in the 2013 tournament, as well as winning her age group at the 2014 long course triathlon in China, none of her Ironman co-competitors actually saw her on the course in Whistler. According to many, she finished first without completing the entirety of the course, constituting serious misconduct. Following a thorough investigation, it was determined that Miller couldn't have possibly finished the course as quickly as she claimed to, and was therefore disqualified. Miller can keep denying everything, but she can't change the facts.
Number 2. Women's badminton teams.
8 elite athletes who were deliberately and flagrantly losing their matches.
Unfortunately, the Olympic Games have often been associated with cheating, whether through the use of illegal substances or other unsporting behavior. Take, for example, the Chinese badminton team at the 2012 Games in London. For a team that's usually a threat, they were seen committing numerous errors, such as deliberately hitting serves into the net. Despite many warnings from the referee, the Chinese team kept with their game plan, one that would be mimicked by the South Korean and Indonesian teams. The purpose of all this? To avoid getting drawn against stronger teams too early in the competition. Thankfully, the IOC disqualified them, though those in attendance did not get refunds.
Depressing. I mean, who wants to sit through something like that?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Diego Maradona.
In June of 1986, during the World Cup quarterfinal match between England and Argentina, the score was still 0-0 in the 51st minute when Diego Maradona received the ball from midfield. He raised his left hand, making the ball deflect into the net.
It's put back over the top, and Maradona has scored!
In the absence of VAR, which would not appear in association football until decades later, referee Ali bin Nasser let the goal stand. Despite many protests and questions circling the incident, Maradona claimed the goal was scored by the, quote, hand of God, an expression that has since become legendary.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.